just having a good time. But now, guys, I would love to introduce to you Paul Shepherd. He is the broadcaster for Rocket Benelux. He manages an RLCS stream. He manages The Grid for Libertas. And, you know, in some way, I guess he's my boss. So everyone, please welcome Paul Shepherd to the stream. Paul, how are you doing this evening?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing great, man. Very busy with stuff, as you mentioned, RLCS, The Grid, Rocket Benelux, everything that comes with it. It's very busy times, but I love it.
I understand that you were just broadcasting a tournament just now. Why don't you let us know what were you broadcasting now?
Today was a 2v2 tournament. It was a collaboration of Esports Nederland and Rocket Benelux, so the Dutch esports organization and Rocket Benelux. We did the finals of a 2v2 tournament. So yeah, very fun, very nice. One of the few times I had to broadcast during the day. So we started at 12 o'clock today, and it ended like a half hour ago or something. So yeah, it was fun. Not much times that I got to do a 2v2 broadcast, so something new. We always see that the overlays are not ready for something like that because they're all built on standard trees and stuff. But yeah, that's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue today was the servers were out for I think 35 minutes or something, so we had to fill in that gap, and we almost called it off. And the moment we want to call it off, servers came back online. So we're happy that happened.
Yeah, we've had our own fair share of problems with the Rocket League server since the update. You know, we had to postpone Cypher by a week because of the free-to-play drop, and then we had the Llama Rama weekend where the servers were also dodgy. We couldn't get private matches up, but I'm sure that you've been on the end of all the same problems as we have.
Yeah, it depends because RLCS has his own servers, so it doesn't really matter for that. But the smaller-ish tournaments do had a lot of problems. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting actually because you know when I first got into casting and streaming, like I would stream and then like manage my stream, like manage the overlays myself and then cast. But when I joined Rocket Benelux, you know, I had the benefit of having you there, and I can just sit there and watch the game, and I can fully focus on the game. But for you, it's also like it's quite an intense role, I think, because you know there's quite little room for error, and you also have to manage all the people. Now I know that one of your biggest pet peeves is probably when I forget to unmute myself.
Happened a lot, yeah. It depends really, because for instance, RLCS, we are working with a clean feed, so we have an RTMP server, and the observer and the production is in Sweden, and they stream to the RTMP server for the Dutch, the French, the German broadcast. So they're streaming it 3 times, and we take that feed and put it as an in-game in our stream. So we don't have to manage anything in-game. We don't have to communicate with players, and I communicate with Psionic staff directly to get all the information for when teams play and on what time and what side of the field they play, like orange or blue. That's just most important, and the rest is just, fixing everything, making sure everything is set up correctly, managing like schedule, brackets, standings, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it really depends. And if we're doing a tourney like today, then I also make the matches in game, and I'm also the guy who gives the sign to the casters and the players for starting the game. And then you get an extra layer because you're also in game and managing that as well. It's a downside and an upside because when you're managing the game and stuff, you have to do more, but it's also more relaxed because you don't have to stick to other people's schedule. You can just do, if it's 1 minute late or early, it doesn't matter because you're the only one streaming that match. And with RLCS, it's 4 streams, so you can be late. So I can't really say what I like more.
I think the one thing with RLCS is, of course, like you also don't have any control over like when, you know, what happens with the timings. Because what I've noticed sometimes is we think, oh yeah, the game's going to be in 15 minutes, and then like suddenly it's, oh no, it's starting. Everyone get in the thing, and so
yeah, we had some weird stuff, but I kind of learned the schedule, and there's like a fixed time in between games, in between rounds. It's like a minute or 4, and in between, if you go from round 2 to 3, for instance, there's like 6 minutes, and then we have an analyst segment and everything. So it's kind if you just do it and just go with the flow, then you eventually don't even have to think about it anymore. It just goes. It happens.
Yeah, so one thing I want to just take a step back from RLCS, because of course this wasn't something that Rocket Benelux always did. From what I understand, Rocket Benelux kind of started just kind of like hosting sort of weekly and monthly tournaments. How long ago did you start working with Rocket Benelux, and like what stage was Rocket Benelux at that point?
Well, I know that Rocket Benelux was founded in March this year, so still very young organization. And I started working with them, I guess it was around May, April. I'm not really sure anymore. It's like around that time. We were all in quarantine, and I was like, yeah, I don't have much to do, so I'm looking
Best
for
time to start doing this.
Yeah, so I just kind of rolled into broadcasting in February this year, and then I just get to know people and started doing stuff and getting to know more people, and that's how I rolled into Rocket Benelux, and now I'm the broadcast manager, and yeah, making sure everything is kind of okay.
So like for anyone that doesn't know, as a broadcaster, you're kind of responsible, right, for managing all of the overlays on the screen, everything that people see. Paul Shepard is basically responsible for that, and also for everything people hear. And so Paul, like how did you get into this? Was this something that you studied earlier, like production and stuff, or was it something that you only recently started getting into?
Well, as I said, I started in February this year, and the first tournament I did was the European University Rocketeers Cup. And the question came from a friend of mine, and he asked me like, okay, you have a decent PC, you know how to stream, because I stream myself. Not anymore, because I just don't have the time for it. And I played Rocket League, so I had some knowledge of the game, so I know how to make lobbies and how to spectate and that kind of stuff. So he said, okay, you can observe and you can stream, so would you try it? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I always loved broadcasting and television and radio and media in everything about it. And I always thought, yeah, maybe I want to do something more with it. But I was not sure, because I didn't know if it was really my type of world, if you know what I mean. It was like the people around it, because I went to a television school for 3 months, and after the 3 months I just almost ran away, because I just didn't like it didn't feel good or something. I don't know. I just couldn't connect with the people, and I don't know. It wasn't that nice. So I did, okay, maybe it's not my thing. So I continued streaming and doing stuff my own way, and that's how I rolled into broadcasting. And now I'm almost a full-time broadcaster. I do have a job on alongside it, but it's last week, just to give you an idea, we had Thursday till Sunday RLCS. We had 4 days. For the people who saw it, obviously low. That's the streams are like, what is it, 8 hours or something, 7 to 8 hours. With preparation, making schedules, talking with people and everything. It's like 10 to 15 hours a day. So it's 40 to 50 hours a week in 4 days. So it's it can get kind of, busy, I guess.
Is it like a good busy though? You feel good afterwards, right?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember when we did the first RLCS stream, I think you were working like on the overlays till like 3 or 4 in the morning or something to get everything ready. Yeah. So you're probably becoming a master of time management more than broadcasting. Because,
finished at 4:30 a.m.
4:30, yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, 4:30. Yeah.
I mean, I go to bed at 4:30, but for no good reason. Mostly because I got carried away watching a TV series, and I then see the time and I think, why am I not asleep? This makes no sense.
The most funny thing that happened, that was I needed to work the day after at 9. So I had like 3 hours of sleep, and then I had to go to work.
How did you explain that one to your boss?
I didn't. I just showed up. I was like, "Hi."
Paul, you're looking a little tired. Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I was making an overlay for Rocket League. Yeah, no, I do have trouble sometimes explaining, why I can't be somewhere, and I'm like, yeah, I'm casting. They're like, what do you mean casting? I'm like, yeah, I'm casting Rocket League. And what is that? I'm like, well, football commentators, right? I'm that, but then for a video game, it's always a hard one to explain, and people look at you like a little bit confused. But no, I mean, it's a big deal actually. You're broadcasting RLCS. It's not a small thing, and I think that for you, it went very quickly because you started. You said you started broadcasting only this year, and then you started working with Rocket Benelux only a couple months after that, and then before you knew it, there was RLCS. So I think maybe an interesting thing to talk about is how did it go from just being like weeklies and monthlies and small tournaments, and then suddenly you've got Libertas for the Grid and you've got RLCS. How did that all come about actually?
Well, Juicy, that's our main admin and the founder of Rocket Benelux, is the coach of Libertas. So the Libertas thing was not really a hard thing to achieve, if you will. And we there were also some lines with Rocket Baguette. And I don't know if people know, but if they don't, Rocket Baguette is like, apart from the official Rocket League stream and Psyonix, they're the biggest in Rocket League, like the streams. They are French, so they have a major audience with France and French Canada and everything, and the French part of Belgium as well. So we did the Summer Grand Prix, which was an 8-tier tournament and a sponsored tournament, sponsored by Psyonix, and without, I think it was 40,000 euros a prize pool or something.
Yikes!
So that was insane. So we did that, and I was like, "This is sick." And just one day, the main guy of Rocket Baguette, Boyan, he DM'd me, and he literally, and I'm not kidding, he literally said, "Hey, do you want to cover a Dutch stream for RLCS?" And I was like, "Dude, are you freaking kidding me? Of course I want to." So that was like in June, and it's that. The moment he said that, I was like, "Am I dreaming?" Because the RLCS is top of the line. It's just the top step. You can get higher. It's not possible because it's the World Championship.
Yeah.
So we arranged it, and it went really fast. It's insane.
I think I can relate because I started casting and streaming like around the same time I think that you started broadcasting, and I remember when I contacted you and you're like, yeah, we're doing RLCS. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. And then I'm sitting there, speaking in my broken Dutch and feeling quite nervous. But no, I've been really enjoying it, of course. And so we are running quite short on time, actually. So there was one more thing, actually two more things I wanted to ask you. And I think I can already assume that RLCS is right now your biggest achievement with broadcasting. Yep. Yeah. So what is your biggest failure? Go on, we want to hear it. What is like the biggest oops?
Well, it's I don't want to sound like cocky or anything, but it's not really, it wasn't really my fault. It was just I broadcasted for an organization, and the overlays were just ugly as hell, and it's the organization behind it, like the tournament stuff was bad, and everything just went well. And people on stream were like, "Man, what is this? Why is this so rough? Why the players and the viewers just didn't like it?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's my name is under that, so I'm just not happy." And I did never broadcast for them again. Even they did pay, but I just said no. I just don't want to do it because I don't like it. So yeah, I don't know. It's my own fault, I guess. Putting in wrong settings, streaming with my GPU instead of my CPU, and just stream looking scuffed, or like forgetting to set it to 60 FPS, and I don't know, maybe missing sound, or just not unmuting the caster so you see people talk but you don't hear them, like that kind of small stuff. But I don't really, again, I don't want to sound cocky, but I don't really remember a big thing.
Yeah, I think so. I think the biggest issue is probably when I leave myself muted. Now I feel worse. I was hoping that you had like some big oops, and now I'm just sitting here thinking, "Oh man, I've done that so many times."
It happens.
Yeah. Well, I think we're pretty much out of time, so I don't know if there's something else you would like to add, or tell everyone. I don't know if you've got some news coming up or anything exciting.
Well, we're doing the major for RLCS, the EU major. So if you understand Dutch, go check it out. If you don't, still check it out. Yeah, we are still we're hoping that Libertas will do the winter grid as well, so we can cover for them as well. And we're just doing more stuff, and I'm also doing more stuff as well. Maybe even making broadcasting my real life job. So who knows?
You have a prediction for the major? Who do you think is going to go all the way?
I don't know, man. The top 6 is really strong, so it can be any team in the top 6 right now. But Galaxy Race is really strong. I think Top Blokes is like worn out a bit or something. And yeah, if I make a prediction for the final, I probably think it's going to be depends. Galaxy Race or BDS.
BDS. Nice.
Yeah,
okay.
why not?
Yeah, I'm going for BDS as well. They've been absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. Just phenomenal. I mean, in the grid as well, the way that they beat Libertas it made Libertas look like they'd never played Rocket League before, and Libertas are not bad.
No.
But BDS were, they were 3-0 down and they come back, win 6-4, no problem, they say. But yeah, it just goes to show how good they are. Well, Paul, thank you so much for joining me here in Project Cypher. It's been a pleasure to talk to you and get a little bit to know about you a little bit more. And I think probably people in the chat have enjoyed hearing a bit about how it is to be a broadcaster, how you get into that, and sort of I'm sure it's quite motivating for people to hear that you only started quite recently and you're already doing the biggest Rocket League event. So, and that's awesome. And of course, congratulations to you as well for achieving that. But yeah, thank you so much. And right now we'll jump to our analyst deck as we're closing in on that third place match. But Paul, have a good evening.
Yeah, thank you, man.